Okay, so the point of this video is to help out everyone's gun skills in close quarters, and I guess medium to long range, but this is basically how to get better at the gunplay, regardless of your setup, regardless of your guns. So, if you notice, these first two guys that I kill are sprinting directly at me, and I am walking and hip firing. So, whenever you sprint, it actually, even though your body is moving faster, your gun is slower. It takes you longer to shoot your gun when you're sprinting. Whereas when you're walking, your gun shoots instantly. So if you're walking at a guy who's sprinting at you, you'll kill him 9 times out of 10 if you're accurate and smooth. And being smooth is very important. And when I say smooth, really what I mean is accuracy. So, you know, the slow is smooth, smooth is fast, the slow part is walking, and the smooth is shooting. So if you can walk around these close quarters maps and shoot smoothly, you will die a lot less and you will kill a lot more. And that goes for the close quarters maps or any of the vanilla maps like Operation Metro or Grand Bazaar that have urban combat. Anything that's indoors or urban combat, like the second I get into urban combat, I stop sprinting. And you can see my teammates sprinting and I'm constantly telling them, hey guys, stop sprinting, you know, take it easy. But, I mean, really, people just get excited in this game, and this guy is also sprinting while I'm walking, and he's also about to die. And if you notice on these slow-motion clips, when a guy is sprinting at me and I start shooting, I usually unload half of my mag before he even gets a shot on me. So it really is an advantage to walk around and just kind of hip fire, or even aim down sights and shoot slowly. But I can't stress enough how much more combat effective you will be if you actually take it slower and start walking around, because your vision will be smoother, you'll notice the guys that you might not notice if you're sprinting, and your gun will shoot much faster, and you'll be more accurate, so it really gives you those extra edges you need when you're on the ground. The only time I sprint is when I'm running for my life. Also, that's me keeping an eye on my mini-map, so when this guy starts shooting at me, I'm prepared for it because I was watching my mini-map. So the second I'm suppressed, I drop, I know where he is, I start firing back without really seeing him. I really couldn't see this guy, and I'm just firing, and I'm like, oh, he's dead, cool. So, you know, at that point, reload, drop the med pick that guy up, and continue to go to work. So, essentially, if you notice with the hip firing, I hip fire a lot. Like, I really do enjoy hip firing for the close quarters, and I hip fire a lot more than most of my peers, and I actually don't have a hip fire rig. Like, I did mess around with the laser sight and the flash suppressor and foregrip for hip firing, and honestly, I didn't notice much of a difference. Like, whenever I hip fire, I literally just walk towards the enemy. I don't use my sights, I don't use the little reticle, I literally just kind of, you know, if I'm off target like right here, I kind of start walking either directly backwards facing him or directly forwards facing him, but I find if you can't quite get the hip fire down, just start rushing the guy. Like, literally run at him full speed, and usually that'll help you acquire him and whatnot. Also with the close quarters, I don't recommend carrying a fully automatic, like, pistol. Like, I was carrying the Glock 18 for a while as my backup weapon, but what was happening was I could not kill 2 or 3 people with a Glock 18 because it was emptying so fast. So I did switch back to the Glock 17, and I found that to be much more effective, it was much easier to be accurate, and it was easier to slow down. Like, the Glock 17 really slows me down because I can't just spray and pray, I literally have to pick my shots. So, right here's hip firing, actually. Another reason why I like the Glock 17 suppressed is that it is the only pistol that has a suppressor and a laser sight simultaneously, so none of the other pistols have that, and it has a pretty high capacity. So I do recommend the Glock 17 unless you're like a revolver guy or you absolutely have to have a machine pistol for whatever reason. But for the most part, I don't typically, even though I do enjoy gunfighting in close quarters and all this stuff, my rigs really aren't close quarters rigs. I have medium to long range rigs, but I make them work with close quarters because I'm moving slow and I'm aiming precisely. And yeah, I mean, the only time I'm sprinting is to sprint away from danger or to close a gap really quickly. I'm never sprinting if I even think there's going to be a gunfight. So if I think I'm going to be shooting my gun within 5 to 10 seconds, I will not be sprinting. So I really try to keep that in mind and just be slower. And this kind of thing, I would have died in this scenario so many times back in the day, but now that I've kind of calmed down, slow is smooth, I mean, I survived that situation. That's a guy with a machine gun versus a pistol, and he's literally spraying the whole time. So me being slow and actually picking my shots and waiting for it totally got me the kill. I am surprised, honestly, at how easy it is to get distracted in Battlefield, and so I mean, I know there's a lot of noise going on, there's a lot of players going on, death is coming from every angle, so it is rather difficult to be slow and smooth, but if you can force yourself to be slow and smooth, it's really rewarding because you really are like a calm guy on the battlefield while everyone else is freaking out. you know, all your other teammates are sprinting upstairs, sprinting downstairs, and you're literally like walking down the street like Rambo, all slow, just killing things. And it seems like it shouldn't be working, but it really is, because you're just hitting the guy. Like, you're hitting him, you're suppressing him, you're being accurate, you're getting the kills. So I honestly think that the slower you go, the better you will be as far as actually, you know, hitting your targets and killing these guys. So that is something to keep in mind. It's also very, 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 very helpful. It's exceedingly, I cannot stress enough how helpful it is to have a bipod. And most people are like, why do you carry a bipod? Like, there's no reason to carry a bipod. Bipods suck. The reason why I carry a bipod is that when you carry a foregrip, it hurts your long-range accuracy. And essentially, every attachment you carry besides the bipod will hurt you in some way. The only way the bipod basically never hurts you because it only helps. Like, you're either ignoring it, you're not using it, and then if it happens to pop up because you're lying prone or because there's a barrel in front of you, it really helps. So as far as I'm concerned, the bipod is an attachment that you can put on, ignore, and then every so often it'll kind of poke its head up on autopilot and you'll just be glad it's there. And the only way the bipod even kind of hurts you is for hip firing. But as you can see from my M16 hip firing with a bipod and suppressor, it's really irrelevant. Like, I don't think that the bipod hurting the hip firing affects it enough to even remotely be a factor. So I do recommend you just carry, like, I literally have a bipod and suppressor on every rig, because whether I'm attacking or defending or anything, I just find it to be kind of my go-to setup. So even though I really like close quarters, if you looked at my gun, you would not think I was a close quarters guy because I have a suppressor and a bipod. But really, I mean, if you can get a handle on this, because this is all hip firing, if you get a handle on these, you know, kind of hip firing with a not hip fire weapon, it'll make you good at the long range. So you kind of have the best of all worlds, because you can do the hip firing at close range because you can handle it, and then also you can attach your bipod for long range or medium range, or when you're locking down something. And of course, being suppressed is always nice because the enemy never looks at you. So I don't care what mode you're playing, whether you're attacking or defending, it's really nice to not have the enemy look in your direction when you're shooting at them. So I hope this video was helpful. It has taken me a while to get back to doing battlefield videos, just because I feel like most of my videos were on air combat, and I was getting kind of tired of that. So hope that was helpful, fellas.